who is going into this meeting with a better hand? Is it Trump or is it Putin?
Well, thank you for having me on with you. I think that your last question is Putin has all the cards. Number one, you have to set the table a little bit. Who's going to this meeting? And you've got Putin on one side, a very sophisticated diplomat, very knowledgeable with a tremendous experience. And his foreign minister happens to be Sergei Lavrov, who's probably the world's #1 diplomat, foreign minister.
Yeah.
So that's on the Russian side, the personality, shall we say, and highly professional. Most people don't understand. The Russians at the top level are very sophisticated. So that's one thing. Now the U.S. side, well, you've got President Trump, who has a very thin knowledge of any of these foreign countries or aspects. He's not an in-depth person. He's a reality TV kind of personality. And his staff are basically, shall we say, lightweights compared to the Russians. They're not really professionals. They don't have a lot of experience or any depth in these matters. So those are the personalities that will be showing up on both sides. And the reality on the ground is there's a war going on in Ukraine, and Russia has won the war. And they're moving ahead very rapidly. So that's why I say Putin has all the cards. He knows what he's doing. Trump really has no cards. And as a result, I think what we're going to see, this will be a great photo opportunity for Trump. And for Putin, by the way, but that's all that's going to happen.
But something that you said, and I just wanted to just weigh in some more on this. You said Putin has won the war.
There's no question about it.
Why do you say that?
It's over. Anyone who knows anything about military operations knows that Russia's cleaning house. They're on the verge of completely wiping out the Ukrainian army. It's over. It's been over for quite a while, by the way, but it's really reaching the ultimate point where the Ukrainian army is just completely annihilated. The Russian meat grinder is grinding on. Let's put it that way.
Oh my God! But we know that Russia already holds or has taken over 18% of Ukrainian territory. When you say the war is over, do you think Putin's war goals have been achieved, or is there more? He basically wanted to create that buffer zone between Ukraine and Russia, which this 18% land, does it give him that?
Well, Russia has other goals that are non-negotiable, and we've known about these for a long time. And that's another reason that nothing is going to happen in Alaska later today between Russia and Putin, simply because there are non-negotiable elements in the Russian playbook. And one of those, of course, as you say, the buffer zone, they'll solidify Crimea and the 4 Donbass. That's one thing. But the other big thing is that Ukraine will become neutral. It'll be like Austria became after the Second World War. That's neutrality. They want Ukraine to be neutral. So that's a huge strategic thing, and there'll be I think enormous amount of quibbling and bargaining and fighting over that. And Russia, by the way, if Ukraine is neutral, that means you're going to have no foreign troops or no NATO membership or anything like that in Ukraine after the war.
Will Europe and Ukraine, if Putin and Trump arrive at some sort of an agreement as to the nature of neutral Ukraine that you're talking about, Will Europe and Ukraine, mainly Zelensky and the EU nations, agree to that?
Well, I think this will ultimately be decided on the battlefield because I'm not certain whether they will agree to it. Right now, I would say no, they're not going to agree to it. I think in the end they're going to be forced to agree to it. But right
And they're
now,
going to be
either that. Let us assume that there's some kind of a peace agreement or shall we say ceasefire, but not a permanent peace. A permanent peace would require all the non-negotiable demands of Russia be met, and that's usually the spoils of victory go to the victor. They don't go to the loser. The loser has no cards to play. So
why is Trump?
these
Do you think
non-negotiable.
Trump can say yes?
What?
Do you think Trump can say yes to these non-negotiable demands that you are talking about, the Russian demands?
No, I
Does
don't
he
think.
have the?
I don't think he's going to say anything about it. I don't think he's going to say anything of substance.
According to the Telegraph, I was reading a paper. Trump is planning to present a package of economic proposals aimed at incentivizing Kremlin to agree to a ceasefire. Now, these include granting Kremlin access to rare earth minerals in Ukrainian territories, which are currently under Russian occupation. How do you give something someone which they already are controlling? I'm just sort of confused. What are the cards that Donald Trump has with him?
Well, you put your finger on the thing. It's kind of a joke. I mean, Russia has control of the rare earths, by the way, which are very problematic. These are a little bit of a phantom. The rare earths, all the minerals, all these riches and so forth in Ukraine. If they had these things, why haven't they developed them? And why aren't they're not really something that's front and center. They at best they're on the back of the stove, not the front.
Okay, so my next question then, why are Trump and Putin meeting if you think nothing is going to come out of this? Clearly both these leaders think something is going to come out of this. Could you just delve into what they're thinking? I mean, what is the thought process?
Well, Trump wants a photo op where he's the center stage, but Putin really in reality, Putin has gotten what he wants. He wants to be legitimized, and he wants to be in the United States, by the way.
Yeah.
Remember, he was painted, but he's painted by everybody as a pariah. That no one, especially the Europeans, the Europeans are really warmongers. They not only have welfare states in Europe, they have warfare states in Europe. Of course, they don't have the firepower to back up much of anything. They can hardly shoot a pea shooter. It's the U.S. who's been financing all of this and the war on the Ukrainian side, and it's the U.S. who's supplying most of the munitions and weaponry. So if Trump really wanted to stop, by the way, this gets to a key point. If Trump really wanted to stop the war, he would just stop sending the money and he would stop sending the weapons. Now he's made it appear, you see, this is typical Trump smoke and mirrors. He said, well, we're cutting off the weapons going into Ukraine. He announces this on the one hand, but on the other hand, he's selling the weapons to Europeans who will pay for them, and they will send them onto the Ukraine battlefield. So that's how it works.